All right, this video is going to cover different kinds of angles in the triangles, dealing with secants, chords, tangents. We've already discussed inscribed angles, that the inscribed angle is going to be half the measurement of its intercepted arc. Now let's go ahead and talk about what happens if we have the angle inside of the circle. This is going to, I know these are lines, but this is generally going to be dealing with two chords intersecting. What ends up happening is the formula you're going to take to figure out what these angles are, first of all, realizing when two lines or segments intersect, we have vertical angles. So either one, you're going to solve the exact same way. And what ends up happening here is we're going to take the two arcs, so their arcs, their corresponding arcs, we're going to take those, add them together, and divide by 2. So let's see exactly what this looks like. We're going to take both those arcs created by the angles, whatever those measurements are, add them and divide by 2. So the formula, the measurement of your angle, we're going to take the measurement of arc 1, it doesn't matter which one's 1 and which one's 2, plus the measurement of arc 2, and divided by 2. It's just taking half of it, but I like the formula like this because we are used to, it's easier to divide by 2 than multiply by 1/2. So here's your formula. Take those two values, add them, divide by 2. Then what happens if the angle is on the outside? This is going to be created by two secants. Secants slice through the circle. So now we're seeing that the angle is outside. What we're going to do is now we're going to take the difference between the two arcs. Here we added them, now we're going to subtract them, but you have to subtract them correctly. Up here I told you it doesn't matter which one's arc 1, which one's arc 2, this one does matter. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the larger arc, which is the furthest one away from the angle, and we're going to subtract the smaller arc, the one closer to the angle, and then divide by 2. If we do it the other way around, we get a negative, and we can't have a negative. So we'll go ahead and write in that formula now. So here's that formula. I've got my corresponding colors, so we can see exactly what we're taking. Now we're going to look at the angle is on the circle. This is going to be created with a tangent that touches and a secant that slices. We're going to end up with that angle on the circle. All this is it's going to be half the intercepted arc. And this one we have already learned when we have two chords inside of the circle where we have the inscribed angle. Now we don't have the inscribed angle, but we have a tangent and a secant. So we're still going to solve the exact same way we did with the intercepted arc in the inscribed angle. So the intercepted arc right here, we're still going to take half of this. And there is that formula for you. So as we go through these problems here, the first thing we need to identify is where is the angle? Inside, outside, or on that circle, so that we could then choose which one of these formulas we use. Number one, we're going to notice that this angle is going to be inside. So we want to make sure that we're using the formula of add the two arcs together and divide by 2. So here we've got one arc and two arc. We will take these and solving for x, we will take 47 plus 116 and divide by 2. And I'm perfectly fine with you guys just going to the calculator, doing your fraction function, and just going ahead and plugging it all in at once. But please do not push in your calculator 47 plus 116 divided by 2. it will divide by 2 first, the order of operation. So this one may be a little bit better if we go ahead and solve it. The numerator first, 47 plus 116, gives you 163 divided by 2. X will come out to 81.5 degrees. Next, we take a look at number 2. We're going to find the measurement of angle S right here. And we need to see, where is angle S? Angle S is outside. So we take a look at our outside formula. We're going to take the bigger arc, subtract the smaller arc in the numerator, and then divide by 2. So the measure angle S, we'll go ahead and set that up. We're going to have the bigger arc, 179. We're going to subtract the smaller arc, 71, and then divide by 2. Once we complete the numerator, we get 108 divided by 2. And the measure of angle S will come out to 54 degrees. Next, let's look at number 3. We're finding the question mark. We can just name that X if you want. We're going to notice that this angle is on the circle, so we're taking half of it, just like we did with the inscribed angles. Note here on the circle. So the measurement, we'll just put X. X equals the intercepted arc, 144, divided by 2. X is going to be 72 degrees. Number 4, the angle over here, this is the 25-degree angle, just so you know, 25 is outside. So if we look up here, look on our formula chart, we subtracted. We took the bigger arc right here, and we subtract the smaller arc. Now we are going to be working backwards on this one. So we have the angle measurement of 25. We set this equal to the bigger arc, 110, minus the smaller arc of X, all divided by 2. Working backwards, we need to go ahead and get rid of the denominator, the 2 first. The best, I mean, you could do it as a proportion also, but if we get rid of this 2 on both sides, we need to multiply. That will cancel out right here. And so then we are left with 50 equals 110 minus X. Couple different ways you can go ahead. You can move the X, add the X to both sides, or you can subtract the 110. I'm going to go ahead and subtract the 110 from both sides. We need to notice that we will end up with a negative over here because we're subtracting a bigger number. We have a negative 60 equals negative X. So then when we divide by that negative 1, so that we can cancel the negative here, we end up canceling that negative on the left as well. And X is going to wind up being 60 degrees. Number 5, we are going to see this angle is inside of the circle. And we do have the angle measurement. This will be a working backwards again. With inside, we can look up at number 1. We are adding the 2 arcs together. And again, it doesn't matter which one is which. We're going to take the X plus the 154 and divide by 2. So the angle measurement, 128, will be equal to X plus 154, what I just said, divided by 2. We will take the first step exactly like we did on number 4, and we'll go ahead and get rid of the denominator first by multiplying. So we wind up with 256 equals X plus 154. This one's easier because we don't have to deal with that negative X, so we can just subtract the 154 from both sides. And then we're going to find that X is going to end up equaling 102 degrees. All right, next, working backwards, and we're seeing that we have the angle outside. So just like number 4. The only difference here is going to be we want to find the measurement of arc XZ. We need to see where arc XZ is. It is now the smaller, it's going to be the smaller arc again, just like we did with number 4. We'll go ahead and notice this is the bigger arc over here. So our angle measurement of 68 degrees will be equal to the bigger arc, 224, minus the smaller arc of our missing, we'll put an X, over 2. Exact same steps as number 4. Multiply both sides by 2 to get 136 equals 224 minus X. I'm going to go ahead and subtract the 224. I'm going to deal with a couple negatives here for a moment. 136 minus 224 is negative 88. And we have that negative X on the right. So we just cancel out those negatives with the negative 1. And X is 88, or the measure of arc XZ. All right, our last 4 problems. We're going to find the measurement of arc JLK. Looking at where JLK is, this is going to be the intercepted arc. So we're noticing that the angle is on the circle. So we're going to take half of the intercepted arc. So here, the angle measurement, 116, will be equal to the intercepted arc that we're looking for, X, over 2. So all we have to do is multiply each side by 2. We don't have to do anything else, because then X will end up equaling 236. Number 8. This angle that we're looking for is going to be inside. So good news, we don't have to work backwards on this one. We are looking for the X, and then we're going to look for Y. And I'm going to go ahead and have you guys look for Y over here as well in just a moment. Rewind that, guys. Sorry. We're going to, there should be a, we can't find X because we don't have the arcs. So what we're going to do is find Y first. I saw my answer key a Y. I was like, wait, what's going on? So we're going to find Y first using these 2 arcs, and then we can find X, and we'll see how here in a minute. So the measurement of angle Y, or of Y, we are going to take the 2 arcs, 55, since we are inside. We're going to add the arc number 2, 75. And divide by 2. So when we add 55 plus 75, because we don't want to just plug everything in the calculator incorrectly, 55 plus 75 is 130, divided by 2. So Y is going to be 65 degrees. Now, to find X, all we need to do here is notice X and Y are going to form a linear pair. With this linear pair, we know that they're going to add to 180 degrees, so X plus Y. We're going to look for X. Y we found to be 65. So now all we need to do is subtract that 65 from both sides. Or I know some of you guys are just like, can I just subtract? You don't need to set it up. You don't need to set it algebraically if you do not want to. X is going to end up equaling 115 degrees. With number 9, notice that the the angle is going to be on. The problem here is that we're given the measurement of a major arc, QTS. We're given QTS. This arc is 238. We need arc QS to solve this. So before we even start, we're going to have to figure out what arc QS is. Well, the entire circle is 360, so get rid of or take away 238. We're going to find out what is left over is 122. So this is the number we're going to use. So our missing angle, we'll just call it X. Now we're going to use that 122 on the circle is half that intercepted arc. So 122 divided by 2, X will be 61 degrees. So let's go ahead and get some algebra involved now. We are looking at an angle that is on. So we have another on, but this is going to be the inscribed angle where we have two chords. So we're going to set the angle measurement equal to half of the arc. So the angle measurement of 70 will be equal to the intercepted arc right here, 141x minus 1 divided by 2. And we'll go ahead, start off by getting rid of the 2 in the denominator. Multiply both sides by the 2. So we have 140 equals 141x minus 1. And it's a big coefficient. All right. So let's go ahead and move that minus 1 to the other side by adding. We're going to have 141 equals 141x. So when we divide, it's going to cancel on the right, being careful that we don't cancel it on the left because we do need a number value there. 141 divided by 141, x is going to equal 1. You can search my YouTube for any other angles inside, angles outside, angles on circles or angles in circles, or search any other YouTube channels if you need more assistance.